What's up guys, it's Eric. So about a week ago today, I was able to do something I've been planning and wanting to do for a while now. I built a basic studio portrait setup in our dining room and took some portraits on medium format film. It's a pretty simple setup. I used a ring light and 2 reflectors. I chose to use a ring light rather than strobes, even though I have set up something similar to this using strobes in the past and gotten some really pretty good results with it. I went with the ring light this time because I planned on using my Pentax 6x7, and that camera has a maximum sync speed of 1/30th of a second using strobes, and it's just not tenable. For anything other than, still photographs on a tripod. I was going to handhold the camera, and of course if I'm using either the 165 or the 105 lens, you're going to want to be faster than 1/30th of a second to get sharp results. So I opted to go with the ring light. I used the 2 reflectors to try and kind of fill in some of the shadows, try and fill in the light as best I could. So how did the pictures turn out? On one hand, I really like the aesthetic and the look of these images. On the other hand, there's some pretty basic mistakes I made, mainly in the setup of the little studio space, that I will get to in a second and would correct in the future if I were to do this again. What's up guys? So we are going to be shooting some portraits in here with the Pentax 6.7. I'm actually going to be using the 105 2.4 lens. Right now I've got the 165 2.8 on there. That's what I used last time when I tried to do this, and I found that while having the longer focal length can compress the image, give you those nice portraits, it also is a little bit long in terms of like getting inside the ring light, which is the setup we're using today. We're using a ring light and 2 reflectors to try and create some sort of square lighting setup. We'll see how it looks. I'm not certain, but I'm hopeful. I'm going to be metering with my Minolta spot meter, and I'm shooting the Pentax 6.7 with some Ilford HP5 and Portra 160, which are coincidentally films that I got for Christmas this year from my parents. I also got some Ektar, but I'm not huge on that as a portrait film. So yeah, I'm very excited. We'll see how this goes. So we just went through the Portra 160. Say hi, Casey. You're glowing in the background here. The cat came to visit. Say hi, Alistair. So we just went through the Portra 160, and I'm excited to see what they look like. I'm gonna actually take those in to get those developed, and when I get the results, the video will go up on. I'm about to shoot the HP5, so I'm gonna meter this at box speed. I don't really have any experience with HP5. I've heard it looks a lot like Tri-X, that it's pretty grainy. Should be fun though. I'm gonna do it right at 400 and see what we get, and I'll do this myself as soon as we're done. So we're done. We did, given that my Pentax 6.7, I load like 9 photos at any given time. We did 9 on color negative, 9 on black and white. I'm gonna do the black and white right now and then take the C41 into the lab to have that done later this week, but very exciting. I'm excited to see what they turn out like. I've really not used HP5 at all, so it'll be fun to see how those turn out. From what I understand, it looks a lot like Tri-X, grainy, gritty, cool. I exposed it at box speed, so I did it at 400. They're all very similar, the photos, but I shot them I shot them at a combination of 2.4 and 4.0. So the color negative, because it was 160 speed, I metered it at 100 and shot them all at 2.4, so roughly box speed, if maybe a little bit overexposed, well within the realm, the realm of what Portra does well. Probably a little bit less exposed than you'd like generally. For the HP5, I exposed them all at 400 and shot them either at 125 2.4 or 250 2.4 or 125 f4. Very excited to see what they look like. Hoping that these are cool and hoping you guys enjoy this video. Bye. So as far as the film stocks themselves look, I think they look great. I think in the future, I would shoot Portra 400 rather than 160 to just give me a little bit more flexibility. I think the 160 maybe looks a little bit underexposed, which is where you get a little bit of those like murkier colors with it. Scanning Portra is always kind of, at least for me, sort of an adventure. I find that Silverfast has a lot of difficulty interpreting the colors in Portra, and in fact, when I tried to use the Portra 160 preset in the menu, I found that it gave me these really kind of hideous greenish colors to everything, and I went with a neutral color, and then in Photoshop tried to kind of correct it to make it as accurate as possible. I actually took a couple of photos with my cell phone and used that as a reference point to get it as right as I could. The HP5 Plus, on the other hand, I think looks great. It is, as has been said, many times, it is a grainy film, but I think the grain looks really nice, really classic. When I mentioned I was doing this to the guy at the camera store, he said, oh, HP5 Plus, so Tri-X basically. And I know a lot of people would bristle at that comment, and I kind of did a little bit. It seemed a little bit reductive, but I'm not sure. They do have a very similar look. I'd love to actually do a video and line up Tri-X and HP5 Plus back to back and see how they do differ, because I'm sure they do. But it has that same kind of classic film grainy look to it that I think is really appealing. So I love the way these turned out. Now, as far as what I don't like about these photos, and the reason that I wouldn't actually like include them in any sort of portfolio or anything like that, is my kind of faulty lighting setup. And primarily, I don't mind the ring light so much. You can see the catch lights, the ring catch lights. I actually don't mind that. I think it looks all right. But the shadows. Now, I had initially intended to use something like one of these guys. I've got like 5 of these, just an LED continuous lighting source, and I was going to light the backdrop behind her, but when I moved, I lost the battery charger for these, and I'm not sure, and they're all dead, so I just decided not to do it. And I should have, because the shadow I find really distracting and really ugly in all of these, particularly in the color, but also in the black and white. And it's something where, when I have done like sort of strobe setups in this fashion, I would do reflectors, a strobe above, a reflector down below, and then a strobe in the back, actually just illuminating the backdrop to kind of clear those shadows away. And that's something I wish that I had done this time. Obviously, I have the stuff, I can do it, so next time I do this, I'll set it up and kind of take that into account and hopefully get better results. In addition, didn't do anything really funky with posing or anything like that. The goal this time was really just to get the photos done, get the negatives, and go forward and see how they looked. I think in general, though, they turned out pretty good. I think they're pretty cool, and it's something that in the future I want to take this and run with it and expand on it, maybe add some complexity to the lighting setup, maybe try to experiment using strobes in something like my RB67, and just kind of go from there and see what different looks we can get, actually controlling the light and setting things up rather than relying on natural light like I usually do when I'm shooting film. So I am like afraid to ask, but what do you guys think? How do you think they look? I think they look okay, but do you like them? Do you think they're terrible? I don't know. Leave me a comment down below. Be nice, please. If you liked this video, I know it's a little bit different from what we normally do on the channel, and I thought it was a lot of fun. So, hit that like button if you're new to the channel. Check out my other stuff. If you like it, subscribe. If you want to help support, the channel in terms of like buying film, going places, doing this kind of stuff. Of course, I do have a Patreon that helps to pay for all this stuff, so consider tossing a couple bucks that way. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I look forward to hearing if this is something you like or not. I'll see you soon. Welcome to the bomb cyclone, aka hell on earth, apparently.